So how is low T diagnosed? Typically in America, most dudes associate, well, my dick still works, so I must have great testosterone. No matter how much body fat they have, or if they're fit, stuff like that, that's what men associate testosterone with. So we have to have that discussion. Well, there's all these other symptoms that most men don't realize, such as the cognitive aspect. When mental clarity starts to go, or motivation, or just that whole apathy and their whole attitude, and all of a sudden they think I have no motivation for work or family or anything. What is wrong with me? And then they usually go to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you're 200, you're normal, you're 350, you're normal. We know how this goes. We know that the range has also been lowered multiple times, and they feel dismissed. And many men, it takes a lot for them to actually go to a doctor. So for them to go to a doctor and then be dismissed, they're not going to resist, because they're like, I'm over this. I was told I'm normal, I'm in range. And so then they get handed pills, and basically it's a problem. So we know primary and secondary hypogonadism. So if you don't, this is how it's diagnosed. But basically with primary, the balls have died, so there's no coming back from that. Same with secondary, it's very much a brain thing. And this is what a lot of guys deal with, and they don't realize. Stress is something that is a huge impact on things like sex drive and testosterone and all of that. And the analogy I use with a lot of my guys, because they lift weights, I tell them, picture yourself in the gym and you're trying to max out on your squat. Front squat, back squat, I don't care. You're coming out of the hole, you're shaking, you're turning purple, you might shit your pants, you're literally trying to get that rep up, and then all of a sudden, your love interest walks in front of you and is like, yo, let's go. To shift gears like that quickly, pop a boner when you're like mid-rep, kind of difficult. That's the same effect that your body is feeling when you're under stress. And your body's not going to say, cool, we're going to go procreate right now because that's really easy to do. So stress has a massive impact on men's testosterone levels. And that's usually in a lot of the younger guys too. When I say younger, I say lower than 50. Because men still think, well, I'm under 50, I shouldn't be dealing with this. And obviously we see it a lot in guys who are dealing with it in their 20s nowadays. And so they'll go to a doctor who looks like this and then tells them they're going to die and basically have explosive diarrhea, or God knows what. Testosterone's going to kill you. But you could have all these other medications where you're running in the fields, galloping, looking really happy, where the side effects are, coma, anal leakage, death, all that stuff. But you're going to die happy in a bed of flowers, galloping through a field. We've all seen those commercials and why they happen. And then they hand guys pills and say, well, just take this. This is going to help you. And we know it doesn't. They feel worse. It doesn't rectify the problem. And we need more doctors like this guy, Eric Sano. He's my doctor. Brilliant dude. He's not here, but anyway. So the current state of men's health and what we are up against is a lot of guys are dealing with sperm production lowering, which has been a quite large amount. If you guys have not read Countdown yet, great book by Dr. Shanna Swan. She ran a landmark study on sperm production and how it's decreased so much worldwide. It's actually kind of scary. And how testosterone's declined pretty much 1% per year for the last 40 years. And ED affecting 30 million men, going to affect way more in the future. And this is also something that I discuss a lot in my DMs on Instagram. That's where I do most of my content and stuff like that. Men who are dealing with erectile dysfunction who don't feel like they should be, which they shouldn't, but because of their age and because of the amount of stress and their poor health, they're experiencing things like erectile dysfunction. And this whole toxic masculinity thing that we have here in the US, that it's just a whole nother topic for another day. I hate it. It's annoying. But dudes are like, can I compliment Allie on her jacket, or is she going to call me a misogynist and then run away? That's what guys deal with. Like, oh, you're creepy if you tell me that this pink jacket that cost $20 from Shein, by the way, really hot. You like it, I could get offended by that, and then you are rejected, and that's not really cool. I don't want to reject anybody. And heart disease is probably the #1 killer, and that is highly correlated with erectile dysfunction. So when something like that is happening to a guy, he really wants to get things checked out. blood work would be the first start. And a lot of men don't have somebody to talk to. So if you talk to any of the guys who are an entrepreneur or they're in the work from home business, or even if they're at a high level executively, they don't have a lot of people to talk to about that. They feel very isolated. So those relationships are also collectively lowering testosterone because they don't feel that bond that they have or that people used to have before social media and things that would distract us from all of that. And the prevalence of low T in younger guys is showing up a lot more in that mid-20s age bracket. So that's something to be considerate